the demonstration. So Money, who lives in the UK, says that he couldn't come down to register. Well, Money, please try and come down and register. Okay. And then also, as we do this, we'll intermittently be taking you to the demonstration grounds with Nashoko and Mawina Egbeta to get the latest update as to how the crowd is massing up and then what we should be expecting when they formally start. Now, let me just say hi to a couple of people before I tell you what I have on the table. Evans Ibn Samba, Solly Evans as well. You've joined Ashadaya Adote. Also, Al Latif, Sonia Aklaku, you've joined us as well. Mercy Freeman, Bruce Foko, and then Juliana Belinda, Lottie Jones were happy. But let also tell you about who is winning Ghana's Most Beautiful, because it's a question we're putting to you. Because, as you know, we've headlined it, Ghana's Most Beautiful 2023. Now, will it be Kwatama from the Bono region, Selom from the Volta region, Adwanege from the Upper East region, Nura from the Northern region, or Na Ayele from the Greater Accra region? Now, make sure that you stay tuned this Sunday as you discover the answer that very day, the 8th of October, 2023 at 8 p.m. during the live event at the National Theatre right here in Accra, because tickets are also available and they are very much affordable, just 50 Ghana cedis. So we've pegged it at 50 Ghana cedis because we want you to come and then take a stash of them as well, a pack of them. Now, experience the evening's excitement with live performances from selected musicians and other artists of the day. Secure your tickets now and ensure you don't get to miss out. Ghana's Most Beautiful, Ghana's Beauty, Africa's Pride. And as always, it's brought to you by the CIMG Media Organization of the Year, Media Generals on TV3. And as we do that, please, let me just introduce our guest for the morning. I have representing the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, communicating for the ruling party. And very soon, you'll have a big announcement to make for us before the year closes. And Enoch Afuakwa is right here. How are you?
I'm good, Roland.
Right there. Yeah, you're well dressed in your smock. I love it.
Yeah.
For the demo.
I thought you should have been red.
For the demo.
Oh, okay, not for the
Not for
demo.
the demo. Okay. You know, we are mourning two senior prominent members of our country who have joined our ancestors.
Okay.
The former First Lady of the Republic, Madam Teresa Akufo, and the former Mayor of Accra, the former Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Pram,
Sports Minister,
the longest serving Sports Minister, serving Council of State Member, Honorable Enoch Tay Mensah. At least these are prominent Ghanaians who have contributed immensely to the development of our country, and they are no more with us.
Right.
So certainly, as custom demands, we are in a week of mourning, and our prayers, our actions, our thoughts must be with them.
fantastic. Which part of Ghana do you come from?
I'm an Ashanti.
Okay. You don't use red in morning?
From Adanse. I'm from Adanse.
La ilaha illallah. There's no other God except Allah. Mashallah.
I'm a descendant of Opeja Kotri Bonsere Free.
Fantastic. Well, you're welcome to the show.
He asked a simple question. You don't use red in morning.
Because you think your people, the ruling party would think that you are solidary.
Oh no. You know, it coincides with the national state of mourning. We are mourning from yesterday to Sunday, and once they are in red, it symbolizes the mourning state of our country, not demonstrating. But once we go into the demonstration, you realize that there's nothing there to demonstrate about. It's only politics.
Afakwa is conflicting himself, but I'll forgive him. Bernard Mona, the distinguished Bernard Mona, the most experienced demonstrator in leading political limelight, former chair of the PNC, Bernard Mona. Good morning to you.
King of demonstrations.
The Che Guevara of our time.
Morning, sir.
And then Ibrahim Mutala Muhammad, former Deputy Trade Minister, currently Member of Parliament for Tamale Central, right here. Used to be a former Member of Parliament of Nanton as well. And good morning to you.
Good morning. If you permit me, let me also add my voice to expressing our sincere condolences to the family of the former First Lady most importantly, former President Kofo, and also the family of some of us. We consider him as a mentor, a father, and a teacher. When I went to Parliament, Honorable E.T. Mensah, and coincidentally, his son and I were in the law school together. Unfortunately, a young man who met his untimely death, he passed on after we finished with the course. And very interesting guy. When I went to Parliament, my first Parliament in the Chief Parliament as the MP for Nantong, he was one of the most experienced MPs with whom that we learnt a lot. He, Honorable Yeletre, the current Speaker, Honorable Bagman, Honorable Kumbo, Honorable Colin Dauda, and a whole lot of them. And I was very close, to be very honest, with Honorable E.T. Mensah. So we can only express our sincere condolences to the bereaved family.
Okay. All right. Kirsten Bisnab says, good morning to us, all of you. And then we have Emmanuel Ampoma says that the story about the boss 18 iPhone purchase to the board members is making him sick. Abubakar Iklilu, you say I should acknowledge you today. I have Amuda Hamidu, you're joining us from the US, and all of you joining us. Bold to Defend Group. They said they will be at the demonstration, we'll be monitoring. And now let's tell you, we're here to discuss two main issues. The first is about the Electoral Commission, what our own findings at the end of the process yesterday, and then doing a general analysis of that registration process into 2024, when we have another onward registration for the general election. And then we'll look at the Occupy BOG as well. Now, we compiled the story. Judith Brown did that. Here's a compilation.
And tiredness. Now, this is the situation here on the premises of the Electoral Commission, where masses have gathered, some for hours since the start of day, just to get their voters' IDs. This is supposed to be the last day for the registration exercise, which has gone on for the past 21 days.
And people too are cheating. Like, if you are here before them, they'll just come and take over. I think they should extend their time because there are a lot of people who haven't done theirs.
People are bringing in protocols. People come, they say they are from here. So there is a lot of frustration. That is why the line is not moving.
The Electoral Commission's office is a registration center for applicants in the 5 Ayawaso constituencies. Some disparities in the process sparked up tensions. Clearly, many have found the process stressful, and there seems to be the continuous resistance from some party executives on the mode on which the exercise has been conducted.
The way the EC earmarked this particular exercise, it didn't favor the registrant, the youth who are 18 years and above. You need to commute distance to this place, especially we in Ayawaso, we are in the center of Greater Accra, and a lot of traffic. So if somebody is coming to register, assuming from in person, before he gets here, 2 hours is gone. You come and queue.
We're overwhelmed with the numbers. And most of the youth coming to don't have a lot of information about their biodata and even their common addresses.
The numbers here might seem overwhelming, but discussions with key executives here on the premises of the Electoral Commission suggest that these numbers are normal and they would be able to register them by end of day. Now, so whether or not there would be an extension of the voters' registration exercise, workers here say that they're yet to receive word from their authorities. Judith Brown, TV3 News, Electoral Commission, Accra.
Oh, it's quite interesting. And somebody like Obrimpong Kaba on our stream is asking, why is it that even in our own story, there's every indication that a lot of people had not been registered by close of the time of the last day. And yet the EC says that, well, we're targeting 800,000 or 700,000, and as much as could be registered, we'll have to shift the others who could not be registered the next year.
Roland, thank you. A very good morning to my senior members here. They were all seniors in the student fraternity.
Okay. And you were a junior in the student fraternity.
We took over from them, so certainly. once we meet, it's the same members of the National Union of Ghana students who are meeting on this platform.
And so we are being ruled by proteges of Ghana, National Union of Ghana students.
Oh, certainly. We have most of our members in Honorable Anodon Prayer, Honorable Haruna.
All of you people. Looks.
Mustafa Hamid.
Mustafa Hamid.
All of them.
Yes.
Dambuchi. Yes, Dambuchi was
the secretary.
Was Alan part?
No.
No, under his.
But there were some who didn't hold.
Musa Dankwa has joined us. Musa Dankwa is executive director for the reputable Global Info Analytics. Good morning to you, Musa Dankwa. How are you?
Good morning. And I'm doing very well, and thank you for having me this morning.
Okay. Now let me go to the president's rep.
Yes. So Roland, let me use your platform to extend my deepest condolences to the family of Mr. J. Gufo, His Excellency, the second president in the Fourth Republic, for losing the first lady of the Second Republic, the second lady of the second president of the Fourth Republic. It was just sad to hear that our mother is no more, but by her age, we only pray that she finds eternal rest in the bosom of our Maker, judging from her contribution to national development, her standard and her demeanor. Everything tells that, in as much as she was the first lady of the Republic, she kept a low profile of herself, contributed immensely to national development, especially with mother and children. Her foundation that she established to promote such her intent and purposes, with her professional ethics and background as a professional midwife and all thereof. She did her best. You know, President Kufuor started as one of the successful presidents in the Fourth Republic. And as we say, behind every successful man is a successful woman. So certainly, her contribution towards the husband's success is immense. And we wish her well in the bosom of our Maker. Likewise, Honorable E.T. Benson. He has seen it all through our governance processes. So we also wish the family of Mr. E.T. Mensah in the NDC our condolences. Roland, with the recently organized limited registration exercise, which is the mandate of the Electoral Commission to periodically update and compile the register of voters, it started well. We all had our issues with the limited registration exercise, but by and large, Ghanaians were successful in getting themselves registered. I saw a press release from the Electoral Commission stating that they are not extending the registration exercise, the 21-day registration exercise, but all those people, all those potential registrants who were in the queue as at 5 p.m. yesterday were given numbers and they were given certain opportunities to be registered today. And as a result of that, I believe that if you saw people in the queue, certainly it is not as if they are not going to be registered, but they have given them opportunity, not extending, but those in the queue have an opportunity to get themselves registered today. The numbers that they are telling us that they projected to register, I think 750,000 people or something, but they've ended up.
You heard 750, yeah? 700,000. That's what they said. First they said 800.
Yes. So certainly, I think the numbers they had as at close of registration yesterday is more than the number that they targeted. And judging that this is not the last registration exercise going to the 2024 elections, so we have another opportunity of going through. Our members of parliament are here. We have all seen some of the shortcomings in this limited registration exercises and the advocacy that has gone through this far. We implore them that they should assist the people of Ghana in doing their needful so that the challenges that bedevil this limited registration exercise that we're all talking about will not be seen in the next coming limited registration exercises. The EC said that we are going to do a continuous registration. I would have implored the EC to synchronize our database with the National Identification Authority that those who are 18 years will not spend even much time going through another form of registration. That once we have a national database, National Identification Authority database, we have a database of Ghanaians. And certainly, once we have that database, it should tell us those who have turned 18, and they should get through the system and register naturally, so that these queues, busing, transporting people transporting themselves, and all these material things that we are complaining about will not be seen in the coming seasons. The issue is about the Electoral Commission, and some politicians will try to link in government of the day, the New Patriotic Party as the ruling party and all those things. Roland, like I mentioned, we are all players in the electoral process of our country. We also have interests, and going into the market of elections, is these same people in the register who are going to determine the fate of political parties. Not only NDC, not only CPP, not only NPP. It is all the political parties in this country who present candidates, whether parliamentary or presidential, to contest the 2024 general elections. And we as a party and political party, the business of a political party is to contest elections and win elections, political power. And we are resolute in doing same. And certainly, the issues raised, our people, we have served notice to the NDC who have boycotted IPAC that they should reconsider their decision and come back to IPAC so that we all can judge.
If they come to IPAC,
so that we all can judge. So that we all can judge and make a definite position, so that the EC can also make a consideration to our position as political parties, because we are major stakeholders in the political, the political limelight or the political system of our country. And certainly, once we make a definite position on it, and in terms of even the Parliament of Ghana, it is these two political parties that are representatives in Parliament. So certainly, if we go through IPAC and make certain decisions and deliberations that we feel will inure to the benefit of Ghanaians as far as elections in this country are concerned. Certainly, the Electoral Commission, as a constitutionally mandated institution with certain level of autonomy, may heed to us and will see some light in what we propose and certainly go by it. But I am urging that the Electoral Commission must liaise with the National Identification Authority in running a continuous registration to people who have attained the age of 18 years naturally, so that this queuing, getting people as temporal officers of the Electoral Commission to sit as registration agents to register for some 3 weeks and take monies and all these things, it's cost to the state, and we can do away with it with the national database that we have. Thank you.
Mr. Musala Mohammed, at the end of the day, it looks like the governing party seem to be, having the posturing, we're all suffering. But you look at the centers and the sentiments we're picking on the ground, people in long queues, people frustrated. At the end of the day, it leads to them making the decision not to go through the hurdles. Is that not true?
Well, good morning. Good morning to my two brothers, and good morning to your cherished viewers, especially the good people of Tamale Central. Permit me to say that I would urge everybody to vote for Noura. Noura is my constituent, and I pray and hope that people vote for her. She is not only beautiful, she's intelligent, and she has demonstrated that throughout the auditioning. So I would just urge people to vote for. And I'm very convinced that my brothers will also do the same when they leave here. They would vote for Noura. The right to vote is enjoined by the 1992 Constitution.
Yeah.
That right is not determined by anybody, not even the president, not even Jim Mensah or Dr. Bosman Asari. That right is supposed to be enjoyed by every citizen of this country as long as you are up to the age of 18 and above and with sound mind. And Article 42 of the 1992 Constitution is very clear on this matter. For you to be able to enjoy this right, you must register. And the registration, as stated in Article 42, that every Ghanaian who is up to the age of 18 and above ought to be registered, has the right to be registered for the purposes of elections and referenda. Now, the institution that is clothed with the capacity to ensure the realization of this constitutional responsibility is the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission has the exclusive right to take people through the processes to have them registered. And it is not at the behest of the Electoral Commission to determine who they want to register and who they do not want to register. As long as you are up to the age of 18 and of sound mind and you are willing to register, the Electoral Commission has no option than to ensure that you register.
Ideally.
Good. I mean, he has no option. Once you are willing to register, the Electoral Commission, this constitutional provision, and if you come to look at Article 45, which also talks about this registration process and the Electoral Commission's capacity to do that, the Electoral Commission has no any other alternative than to ensure that people who are up to the age of 18 and above with sound mind who are willing to register are registered, except that the Electoral Commission would not want to respect this constitutional provision. Now, if you are the only body clothed with the capacity by law to ensure that people register so that they can fulfill this constitutional responsibility, and you renege in doing that, then you are not fit to be at the Electoral Commission. Now, my brother says that the NDC would want to make it appear as though it's an MPP thing. Of course. Jean Mensah is an activist of MPP. There is no doubt at all about that. Dr. Bosman Asari is an activist of NPP. As a matter of fact, I was with him in University of Ghana. I think he was my 2 years senior. I was at the psychology department. He was at the political science department. An activist of MPP. When he became the head of department of the political science department after completion, he was the TESCON patron. So he's an activist. You remember the other day he called onto this program when I said Jim Mensah was an activist of MPP. And he said no, Jim Mensah had never been. So it means that in the heart of his heart, he knew that it was morally wrong for you to appoint someone who is an activist of a political party to man the affairs of the Electoral Commission, which is supposed to be a neutral arbiter. So there's no question at all about that. Why are we where we are? Now, he talks about IPAD and that they have served notice that the NDC should come back to IPAD. I had a view which was different from the view of my political party. When we took the decision not to participate in any IPAD meetings, I felt that we could have avoided that. But as I sit today, and with the conduct of Jean Mensah and Bosman Asari and the Electoral Commission, I tend to feel that the NDC and the decision to boycott the IPAC, the NDC has been vindicated. And those who took that decision have been vindicated.
So, how can that be a good decision?
I'll tell you why. Now, all the political parties, except the NDC, attended an IPAC meeting. The Electoral Commission came out with this proposal to have this registration done, okay? To have this registration done at only Electoral Commission, district electoral offices. All the political parties, including the MPP, kicked against that proposal. Maybe you ask, how do I know? That same day, Jean Mensah held that press conference. Joy FM specifically interviewed one of the leaders of the political parties that attended the IPAC meeting. And the gentleman said he was speaking for all the political parties that attended the IPAC meeting. And that they kicked against the proposal to have this registration done only at the Electoral Commission district offices across the country. So they asked him whether the MPP, he said yes, the MPP was in support of the position all of us took. They interviewed one of the national executive officers of MPP, if I'm not mistaken, one of the deputy secretaries. And he said yes, they support that position. And they told the Electoral Commission that there was no way they were going to accept that. The Electoral Commission then informed them, after they kicked against this proposal, that they were going to come back to them after some deliberations, only for them to hold that press conference and stated that they were going to have all these things done at district offices of the Electoral Commission. So was there any respect given to the members of the political parties who attended IPAC? On that basis, the NDC is now vindicated for avoiding IPAC. Because if you go for IPAC and you are not respected, and the argument that is consistently made, that the Electoral Commission is an independent body, rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. The Electoral Commission cannot determine its budget for itself. The Electoral Commission cannot hold on.
This is enshrined.
I'm saying that the framers of the Constitution themselves are aware that giving you that right is not absolute and you cannot use it arbitrarily. And that is the reason why the tools for you to execute the responsibilities, for which reason you think you have an absolute right, that tool must be given by another institution, another body. And that body is Parliament. That should tell you that you don't have that absolute right. Anytime it suits them, we are independent body. But anytime it doesn't suit them, Parliament is not acting responsibly to ensure that our CI that we bring to Parliament goes through. Now, the Electoral Commission haven't mentioned this constitutional provision. The Electoral Commission also came to Parliament For its own law, the CI was the law of the Electoral Commission. You can describe it that they came to Parliament. This is what we want to do. We want you to give us that legal backing for us to execute this responsibility as a mandate, as stated in Article 42 of the 1992 Constitution and Article 45. And the CI 91 and 25 as amended, it was the laws of the Electoral Commission. What do these two laws say? They talk among others where the registration must be to ensure that people register at places which is convenient for them to have elections. We have never had any elections at Electoral Commission district offices. Regulation 2, yes, of CI 91. We have never had elections done in any EC's offices. Now, the MPP, the lack of principles, the unquestionable and principled position of the MPP, having supported all the political parties to kick against the position of the Electoral Commission to have this registration done only at district offices of the Electoral Commission. Within 48 hours, they were seen as unsolicited, lawyers and communicators for the Electoral Commission, defending the position which they all collectively with the other political parties kicked against. If people have principles, will they do that? Today, it has dawned on them that what we were agitating for and demanding that the registration be done at the the registration centers should have been respected. Today, they are crying. I have watched one of our colleagues who sat on TV and was lamenting. He spent about 30,000 Ghana cedis in this process. You see, when the child says that the mother will not sleep, certainly the child will also not sleep. The exercise, it's an African proverb. The exercise that the Electoral Commission engages in, if you have a target and then you went into the process, and as a result of your incompetence and lack of functioning machines, we had reports in my constituency the first day, only 5 people registered for the Tamale Metro. The second day, it moved to 50. And then you had the numbers increasing because they had to bring in an additional machine because the machines they brought initially were defective. Now, if you look at these complaints across the country, and for which reason there are teeming mass of the Ghanaian people who are qualified. They are 18 and above with sound mind, and they are supposed to be registered. And the Electoral Commission is supposed to register them. These people haven't registered. The Electoral Commission has taken an arrogant position. They are unwilling to extend the days. And the only argument they make is that, we have this thing that will be done before the election. People want to have their names registered now.
I think they haven't gotten the two views now. You disagree. Please note it down.
You are not.
You are saying
that the NPP is not principled.
You have never been.
Because I was just saying that you espouse a position that's almost
and only for you to change.
Now, Mr. Musa Dankwa.
Once you say that,
Mr. Yes, please.
You are a man of
patience. Mr. Musa Dankwa, if you look at an analysis that the estimation that the EC has made, 1.3, they said they wanted 700,000. Then by day 15, they said they've gotten 600,000. So they're almost through. And so once they get to 700,000. But yesterday, we had tens of young people who were still waiting by closing time at most stations or most registration centers, so to speak. What does that tell you as a pollster or somebody who does research on the demographics of our voter population or generally the population? Please, can you unmute for me?
Oh. I think it's from your side. It's not here. It's from your side.
Please go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Clearly. I can hear you clearly. Please go ahead.
Okay. I think EC first underestimated the number of people who will be eligible to register as voters. They first relied entirely on the number who attained 18 through the statistical services. They ignored the portion of population who are well over 18 and have not registered in the past election. So those people were left out. So their estimate that they got, I think, excludes a number of people who they should have counted as part of the population they were targeting. Now, based on that, their actual estimate would have been underestimated. Now, per our calculation, we expect about 4% of the voting population to be first-time voters. Now, if you add the element that may have already attained voting age and they haven't registered, that could be much higher. Now, what we saw in the current exercise is that quite a number of young people are enthusiastic about voting.
Yeah.
That is why you saw a huge number yesterday after the closing date trying to register. Even with the inconveniences of traveling between long distances, they were still keen in registering to vote. I don't think they are registering to vote for the assembly elections. They're actually targeting the 2024 elections. And it's an expectation that there will be higher turnout among first-time voters in 2024.
I heard a politically active person say that if you look at, or maybe the EC was surprised to have seen a lot of young people enthusiastically trooping to these centers. Do you think there's that underestimation that you point out is also because maybe perhaps they want to push the backlog of young people to next year instead of this year?
I mean, what is the sense of doing that? I really don't believe when you have the opportunity, get them to register, because globally it's been shown that young voters are difficult to take part in the democratic process. So once they've shown enthusiasm, get them on the register, encourage them to take part in the process of democracy. Why do you delay it when you have an opportunity? Say a bird in hand is worth two in bush.
Okay, what are the implications then, based on a number of people not having gotten the opportunity to register? Before I will come back later. What are the implications, Musa Dankwa?
You know, the implications are that some parties may be disadvantaged with regards to those who haven't registered, because the poll will show which party is doing well among first-time voters and which party is not doing well among first-time voters. I mean, for those who are doing well, they should get the data, and even those who are not doing well, and encourage everyone to register. Because at the moment, there's no manifesto. And once you have a manifesto that entices the young voters, if they're not on the register, how do you get them to vote? So it is the duty of every political party and even the EC to ensure that every voter who is eligible to vote can register to vote and be allowed to vote in 2024.
Bernard Mona, based on your estimation, what would you say has become the conclusion you have drawn? That the Electoral Commission says that it is acting independently and is taking the best interests for the electorate or the new voters, and so this or their position is right? I'm asking.
Well, because your eyes were still fixed on
Musa, because I was on the camera, sorry.
Permit me to also use the opportunity to commiserate with the families of President Kufuor, or Teresa Kufuor, so to speak, particularly the husband, President Kufuor, the children, and the entire family of Kufuor, and in particular the New Patriotic Party, and of course the entire nation of Ghana. It's evident that Madam Teresa Kufuor, as First Lady, probably was one of the most quiet First Ladies in our country's history. And it's evident also that she did not seem to have meddled herself in the job of the presidency. She was an isolated, more or less, minding her business type of woman. What we have seen in recent times of First Ladies is not the kind that we can say of Madam Teresa Kufuor. The First Ladies of now are seen to be eagerly grabbing properties. And sometimes when people even speak about them, it comes as those people must be picked up in Rambo style, put up in cells overnight just for daring to question the kind of acquisitions that are being made. And so on that score, Teresa Kufuor distinguished herself as a veritable stateswoman. And my condolences goes to the Kufuor family in particular. And I would wish that current First Ladies will look at the record of Madam
Second ladies now.
and second ladies, will look at the record of Teresa Kufuor and review their activities and operations, because we are watching. Even in death, we shall judge them. E.T. Mensah played his part as a sports minister, as a mayor of Accra, as an MP, as Minister for Works and Housing, and what have you. But it cannot go without saying that he also had his downs. And I recall a story that was told to me by one of the NDC members, that when the country was returned to constitutional rule, the cadres in Parliament wanted EC to be appointed a minister, particularly Minister for Youth and Sports. And the Speaker of Parliament, D.F. Hannan, when the list of ministers were announced, the MPs got very angry and agitated and ran to the Speaker of Parliament saying that E.T.'s name had not come. And so in their aggression and attack, the Speaker took the list again of the ministers that were appointed. Then they said they have checked through the list, they've not seen E.T., because everybody knows E.T. Mensah. And the Speaker asked them, what is the full meaning of E.T.? And they were all sitting down. Then he said, there is Enoch Tay Mensah. And the E.T. represent Enoch Tay Mensah. So all these MPs who had gone there in fury realized that their research was poor, they were not adequately informed, and they went back in their shame. That is to tell you the level to which even members of the party wanted some people to occupy certain positions. Black Rasta said it, and let's say, if they did good for our society, let them be received heavenly. But if they also did bad and contributed to the mess that we are finding today, let them be judged harshly. I wish the families strongly in their bereavement. Personally, I will take steps to go there, to go and visit the families of President Kufuor and also E.T. Mensah, and to show my personal commiserations to them. Now to this sad spectacle that is taking place within our Electoral Commission. Aren't you sad yourself?
I had a lot of report from Tema West.
Aren't you sad?
Well, because they were, so for all those who were in Sakumo next day, they had to go to main Tema, Mexico, the Mexico Center.
People within Greater Accra sometimes will have to travel 3-4 hours to locate a registration center. And you think that this is conscionable? You think this is conscionable? That an electoral institution that is to make available and accessible registration centers so that persons can participate in the processes, decide to take away every logic and to engage in an egoistic, I don't know whether they wanted to show muscle and useless muscle. Look, who has not spoken about the dangers of denying people their right to get onto the voters' register? Who has not spoken in this country? Traditional authority has spoken, civil society authority has spoken, political parties have spoken. Who hasn't spoken? You, even on this platform, on many occasions, you have spoken. Jean Mensah-led Electoral Commission cannot be intelligent, in fact, they are not near that, than all those people who have spoken about the need to expand the voters' register.
CDD, all of them.
Everybody has spoken. And they have spoken based on research. I tell you, common rationalization will tell you that every year, about 600 students from SHS get completed. So if you did not do limited...
1,000.
Yes, 600,000. If you did not complete, if you did not do voter registration
That year
in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023.
Over 2 million. Or
Clearly.
6318.
You understand? Clearly, these are those who have gone to school. You are yet to add those who, for one reason or the other, could not go to school.
Or they not register 2020.
So, evidently, you are talking about 3 million people. That's a cursory analysis of the situation. You don't need any statistics to be able to do this. Just school records will tell you. So when you come and tell us your target is 700 to 800,000 people, it means that you have thrown logic to the dustbin. It means you are not ready. In fact, you are a spent force. You have caused financial loss to the state because you have deployed resources that will not achieve maximum effect but minimal effect. These are the things that the internal audit unit should be investigating to find out value for money. So, Dr. Eric Osai Odro, this is the place you should check. The monies that Parliament voted for the EC to conduct this exercise, go and check whether any of that money will be left. And check whether we have been able to exact maximum record from it. Then you will know that at the end of the day, maybe some money sharing formula has been instituted at the EC so that they will not spend the money on what needs to be done so that it will go into their pockets. That is my belief now. Because the EC doesn't appear to be excited about people getting onto the voters register. Because when people are getting onto the voters register, I think the EC become uneasy. Why? Why? You go to places like Boku. You are told the challenges. In some places, MPs wrote to you to tell you that because of water and other issues, you cannot ask people to come from this side. But it's better for EC officials to go to that part and stay there for the period of 3 weeks to exact this exercise. The EC wrote to them and told them that they should wait for 2024. The arrogance alone can lead to a revulsion. And that is a threat to our democracy. National Security Minister, you don't find this as a threat to the democracy? You don't see this as a security threat? The conduct of officials of state. You know, I don't know what we get about this. But I'm very sad. Because, you see, it's very difficult to say. Because I've listened to the director of elections of the NPP, Evans Nimako, who has come to chastise this matter. To tell the EC that, look, they will prefer registrations at the electoral areas. And you have 6,272 electoral areas. Do that so that at least, if you were doing this for the purposes of what we call it, assembly elections, why are you not getting to the electoral list? Do you know how much any person interested in assembly elections had to spend to get people to go and register? Why is the EC burdening people when the state has devoted resources for an exercise that necessarily must be free? People now are paying exorbitantly in order to obtain a voter ID card that is free.